The Misty Vale. Adventure of Hazel and the Crystal Lantern. On the edge of a peaceful village called Brookshire lay a mysterious place known as the Misty Vale. It was a valley shrouded in a gentle fog, where the mist seemed to move like a living thing. Nobody ventured there except for a young girl named Hazel. Hazel had always been fascinated by the Misty Vale, with its whispers of hidden magic and the promise of adventures untold. One evening, just as the sun dipped below the hills and painted the sky in soft purples and golds, Hazel noticed something peculiar. In the mist, she saw a flickering light, bright and green, like a star that had fallen to the earth. It seemed to float, weaving between the trees, as if it was inviting her to follow. Hazel's heart skipped a beat. Should I follow that light? She wondered aloud, her eyes wide with wonder. Would you follow a mysterious light into a misty valley if it called to you? Hazel was brave, and her curiosity was stronger than her fear. She decided to follow. Quietly, she tiptoed out of her house, wrapping her shawl tightly around her shoulders, and set off towards the vale. The mist wrapped around her like a soft blanket, and the air was cool against her face. As she moved deeper into the valley, the green light danced ahead, always just out of reach, leading her further until she came to a clearing she had never seen before. In the center of the clearing stood an old, gnarled tree, its branches twisted and reaching towards the sky like the arms of a giant. Hanging from one of the branches was a crystal lantern glowing softly with a green light. Beneath it stood a small creature, a fox-like being with soft fur, oversized ears, and eyes as round as marbles. It looked at Hazel with a mix of curiosity and hope. "Welcome, traveler," the creature said in a gentle voice. "I am Lumen, guardian of the crystal lantern. We need your help, Hazel." Hazel's eyes widened even more. "You know my name?" she whispered. The creature nodded, its eyes full of warmth. What could a creature like this need help with? Hazel wondered. What about you? Would you help if a magical creature asked you? "The crystal lantern is losing its glow," Lumen explained, glancing up at the lantern hanging above them. "If its light fades completely, the mist will overtake the entire valley, and the magic of Misty Vale will be lost forever. Only someone with a brave heart can restore it. Will you help me, Hazel?" Hazel felt a flutter of excitement in her chest. "Of course I'll help," she said. "What do I need to do?" Lumen's eyes sparkled with gratitude. "To restore the crystal lantern, we need to gather 3 magical flames: the flame of courage, the flame of kindness, and the flame of wonder. Each is hidden deep within the Misty Vale, guarded by trials that only the brave can face." Hazel nodded firmly. She was ready for whatever lay ahead. Lumen led Hazel deeper into the vale, where the mist grew thicker and the air colder. Soon, they reached the edge of a dark, still pond. The water was black as ink, and Hazel could see her reflection staring back at her. Except her reflection looked worried, scared. Lumen pointed to the center of the pond, where a tiny, flickering orange flame hovered above the water. "The flame of courage lies there," Lumen said softly. "But to reach it, you must face your fears." Hazel swallowed hard, her heart pounding. She took a deep breath and stepped towards the water. The surface rippled, and her reflection spoke, its voice shaky and full of doubt. "You can't do this, Hazel. You're not brave enough." Hazel paused, feeling the fear welling up inside her. "Have you ever felt scared to do something important?" She clenched her fists and took another deep breath. I am brave, she whispered to herself. I can do this. With her heart pounding, she stepped into the cold water, feeling it rise around her ankles, then her knees. She kept her eyes on the flame, focusing on its warmth. The pond seemed to push against her, as if trying to hold her back, but she kept going. Finally, she reached the center, and the flame floated down into her hands, warm and bright. The water around her stilled, and Hazel felt a surge of courage fill her chest. She turned and walked back to the shore, the flame glowing brightly in her hands. Lumen led Hazel to the next part of the vale, where they found a grove of twisted trees. The branches were tangled together, and in the center of the grove sat a large old badger, its fur streaked with grey. The badger looked up as they approached, its eyes tired and sad. This grove has been my home for many years, the badger said, but the trees have grown too thick, and now I cannot find my way out. Hazel looked around at the tangled branches, her heart aching for the old badger. I can help you, she said softly. She began to gently pull at the branches, untangling them one by one. It was hard work, and her fingers ached, but she didn't stop. The badger watched her, its eyes slowly filling with hope. Finally, after what felt like hours, Hazel managed to create a path through the grove. The badger stood, its eyes shining with gratitude. Thank you, young one, it said, and from its paw it held out a glowing blue flame. This is the flame of kindness. You have earned it. Hazel took the flame, her heart warm. Have you ever helped someone and felt their gratitude light you up inside? She asked, smiling at Lumen. Lumen nodded, and they continued on their way. The final flame lay at the top of a steep hill. The mist swirled around them as they climbed, the path narrow and winding. Hazel could feel her legs growing tired, but Lumen's presence kept her going. At the top of the hill, they found a small garden filled with flowers that glowed softly in every color imaginable. In the center of the garden, a golden flame floated, shimmering with a light that seemed to dance. This is the flame of wonder, Lumen said. But to take it, you must see the beauty around you, even in the hardest moments. Hazel looked around at the flowers, their colors blending together like a painting. She took a deep breath, letting the beauty of the garden fill her heart. She thought of all the wonders she had seen that night. The mist, the glowing lantern, Lumen's kind eyes, the courage she had found within herself. She reached out, and the golden flame floated into her hands, filling her with warmth and light. With all three flames in hand, Hazel and Lumen returned to the clearing with the old tree. Hazel carefully placed each flame into the crystal lantern. The lantern began to glow, brighter and brighter, until the entire clearing was filled with a warm, green light. The mist seemed to pull back, and the vale was filled with the soft sound of leaves rustling and creatures stirring. Lumen looked at Hazel, its eyes filled with gratitude. Thank you, Hazel. You have saved the magic of the Misty Vale. You will always be a friend to us. Hazel smiled, her heart full of joy and wonder. Just then, the green light surrounded her, and she found herself back at the edge of the vale, the first light of dawn breaking over the hills. In her hand, she still held a small glowing crystal, a gift from Lumen. She looked back at the vale, a smile on her lips. I wonder what other adventures await me here, she whispered. And maybe, just maybe, the next time the mist called to her, she would be ready for another journey. If you found a glowing crystal from a magical vale, what would you do with it? Would you keep it safe as a memory of your adventure or use it to bring light to others? Remember, the Misty Vale will always be there, waiting for those brave enough to explore it. If you enjoyed Hazel and Lumen's adventure, give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more magical bedtime stories. Hit the notification bell to never miss out.